Hi everyone, it's your girl Melly. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be covering some things that you need to know before you go to Hawaii. I recently traveled to Hawaii and there were some things that were really frustrating because they have a lot of COVID guidelines, and I am vaccinated, so I'm going to give you that side of things, and I'm also going to give you the unvaccinated side because my friend who was going with me, they were not vaccinated, so they had a different experience. Finding information was not that hard on certain things, so we found the Safe Travels website, and so for myself, I am fully vaccinated. I have like the 2 weeks, you know, I'm good. I had to download, so they recommend 3 apps. One of them is a Clear app. So that's what I downloaded, and I had to verify like my identity with my license, and I also had to take pictures of the front and back of my vaccination card, and it has to be like really clear. They have to be able to read like the lot numbers and everything. So if your card is damaged, you might have to, you know, get another one or something, so they can really see your information. And that, once you sign up, it gives you like a QR code. It's like a pass. So on my first layover, actually, in Los Angeles, somebody came to like the gate and said that they were going to be checking all of our health information. And at first they didn't say like that you could actually get your information checked in Hawaii. So I got in line, and you know, people were talking about this QR code, and people are stepping off to the side because they, you know, obviously don't have something. And I was like, oh, well, you know, I signed up for this app, I should be good to go. But then they were, you know, you could kind of hear people confused, and a lot of people didn't have it. Well, it ends up being that even if you're vaccinated, you have to sign up for Hawaii Safe Travels. Then you have to fill out your whole profile, and then you also have to do a survey 24 hours before you travel to Hawaii. I got in line, and then I realized, well, you know, it's gonna take a little bit longer. So I stepped aside, and by the time that I came back, the line was so long that I just had to wait until I got to Hawaii. Once I got to Maui, and I thought Maui was my second layover, so I was also a little nervous that, because I only had like an hour layover, and then you have to get in line, which I was a little worried because I'm like, well, if this line takes a really long time, because I mean, it was a huge line, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to get to my flight. After you fill out the 24-hour survey, then, I'll just call it the 24-hour survey, then they send you an email with a QR code. That's the QR code that they want in Hawaii, along with your vaccination card. Once you get up to the counter, then it's not really a counter. They have like just tables set up, like 6 tables with people, and they take your vaccination card, your ID. So they check all that stuff. You take a picture of it, and so that is your picture that you need to get out of the airport. If you don't have that stuff, then you have to quarantine when you're there, which, I mean, if you're on vacation, like that's the last thing you want to do is just be stuck in a hotel in Hawaii. They went to get a test, so we were gonna fly out on Wednesday. They went to get a test on Monday, and usually the tests don't take, if it's really busy, you know, it can take up a couple days, but usually you get in between 48 to 72 hours. And when they went to get their test, they said, the person there said like, oh yeah, you should be fine by Wednesday. Well, by Wednesday, they did not have their test results. So if they got to Los Angeles and they didn't have their COVID test and got on the plane, and then 2 minutes later, they, you know, after they're off into the air, they would get the results, then they would have to quarantine in Hawaii. Even though they're negative, but because they didn't have their test before they boarded the plane, then it doesn't count. So they had to reschedule their flight for the next day because their test results weren't in, And the catch is that they want you to have your the negative test. So your test has to be within 3 days of you leaving. So that was another, like, it was just like, okay, so if they can't fly out within a certain amount of time, then that test is not going to be valid anymore. And then they have to get another test. But now that test is going to take longer to get there, or to results. So you could pretty much be screwed. There are a couple places that like do a 1-day turnaround, but of course it's going to be another like $120, I think. Well, from previous conversation, that's what it's cost other people. That whole timing thing, you know, and then the worry that for some reason you do catch COVID and you end up being positive, like, then you still can't take your trip, or if you just don't get your results. So they finally were able to get their results, and luckily they were also resulted, you know, they weren't like, they didn't have an issue with them at the lab. So they were able to leave the next day. That was all good. They checked in Los Angeles, were able to get on the plane. All good there. Well, one thing that we didn't see in the pages that we checked was that in Honolulu, you cannot go anywhere. I should correct myself. You can't go sit in anywhere unless you are vaccinated. So, that means that we couldn't go out to eat, and actually sit out, you know, sit in the place. We couldn't go out to like a club, which I wanted to go out dancing, but no, we can't. It is so annoying. And I'm saying a lot because it just is, there's no words. Well, people there were like, you know, we have a friend there, and, you know, he's like, oh, well, you know, people should check. Well, we did check, but, you know, not that, I guess we didn't see that piece, or there's not a lot of things saying, hey, you can't eat at restaurants because you're not vaccinated. Obviously you can go and get your food and then get out. You just can't sit in, which is something I would go out and eat at the beach. Like, we can take, you know, we would take dinner to the beach. So it wasn't too bad, but I think like if you're going on your honeymoon, or if you're going out, if that's like a thing you do, like, you know, you're a foodie and you want to go out and try different foods, like eating in the sand is not the best, you know, thing for some people. So I guess it just depends who you are. But yeah, it kind of was annoying because like I said, I wanted to go out to a club and do something, but there's certain things that we couldn't do because my friend was not vaccinated. And well, and he could go if he had a test within 24 hours. But that's another thing, that unless you know that that is a requirement and you book your test in advance, then you're not going to find anywhere that's going to give you a COVID test because everything is booked. Even if you did get a COVID test, if you're trying to go out every day and do something that requires a negative COVID test or a vaccination, that is going to cost you a lot of money. I didn't look at the prices for COVID tests, but I can tell you that things are way more expensive, at least in Honolulu. Want to check the rules, who needs to get a COVID test, where they can get a COVID test, how long it's going to take, so you can schedule your things. You know, if you are going to go out, maybe, you know, you really want to go out to a club on one day, then scheduling that COVID test in advance, where you can go and a place that is close to your hotel. I still had a lot of fun, but they were, you know, it's just, you go on vacation because you want to relax, and having to worry about whether a COVID test is going to come in or not is not relaxing. And then, you know, having to worry about like, oh, did I miss something? You know, because I was back, you know, like I said, I'm vaccinated. So I was like, okay, it's going to be cool. But then once they started popping out, oh, wait, you have to do this and you have to do that. Like, you have that QR code, but that's not the right QR code. You have to get this QR code. So that was just a little bit Like, it was annoying. Not a little bit, it was annoying. If you all have any questions about COVID and traveling to Hawaii, please let me know in the comments. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.